Welcome in, Nick. Hopefully the evening's running well for you so far. I'm just getting some self-promo stuff done. But how's your Saturday going? There we go. Yeah, no worries, Solace. You've got a good amount of things going right now. Don't worry about my side. Shoot. Going well, I sound kind of down. Uh, let's just turn that down so you can hear me. I'm probably quiet. Yeah, admittedly, the week's been kind of demoralizing, and today hasn't really helped too much. So, we're mostly just going to be working on Solace Doll, and then just kind of trying to not bring the mood down, I suppose, because I guess it's mildly noticeable in my voice this time. Whoops. Happens, I guess. Shoot. That will grab by the bot. Oh, there we go. Yeah, let's work on the Solace Doll. That's some stuff I need to fix anyways. Um, First things first. Shoot. Get rid of this stuff for a second. Okay, that is part of it. Don't worry about me too much. I'll get a handle on what's bugging me eventually. Mostly kind of petty-ish things anyways, so it's just something I gotta nail out a little bit. Let's see here. Spike needs to go to here. That's a bit better. And fix that, because that's a bit too thick for its own benefit. That's good. That works. Almost worked. There we go. Now we just gotta fix the colors. Oh. There we go. Cool. Get rid of our little square buddy. There. That should be okay. Yeah, I think for the purposes of our stuff, that's good. Okay. So that I at least wanted to fix first. Now we need to actually get on to shading stuff, which is probably going to take us a hot minute. Here. Probably not that big. Much. Actually, that's the wrong side. We need to do it more on this portion. Shading will inevitably take us a hot minute, by the by. If only because there's a lot of finer details in the Solace outfit and the Solace staff. So that's probably going to be most of this stream. And if I get a wee bit too focused, that's going to be why. Because I got nothing against this on your side, Solace, I promise. Just when I like doing my shading, it does tend to take up a bit to get it across what I want to get across. Guess we should probably figure out as well, since we're getting close to the end of finishing up the Solace base doll, who we should work on next. I guess Dewey would probably be a good target next, wouldn't it? Now that she's kind of coming back, we can celebrate the fact that she's getting everything back up and running. That's way too goddamn big. Here we go. This is going to require significantly different levels of shading. Okay. This is also why I like having the music on the art streams. I do find, while I'm drawing at least, it's hard for me to think up topics to really discuss that would pose as interesting thought-provoking questions to a chat. And unfortunately, with trying to learn from other people on how to do these kinds of streams, it does kind of seem like a better option to kind of leave the floor open to the chat, just so that way you can end up focusing on what you're doing. And then if chat has anything they need to discuss, then it's fairly a good place to do it. I don't know. There's still stuff you kind of got to figure out. Yeah. But then I guess that kind of flips onto itself a little bit. I guess it's just my eyes. When the streamer's not exactly interacting with the audience as much, especially during the later time slots for the EST crew, where it's usually a little bit of a downtrodden state of mind anyways. Well, EST and Mountain Time, I would say, is when the cutoff is for my thought, at least. There. Let's see here. Do a little bit of this. Yep. Although one thing I would like to do in the future as well at some point, it may not necessarily be a model, but I'd kind of want to make a Jude-based design that's kind of based on robots that have the full ocular faceplate-esque symbol on them, just because I kind of like those. But it is going to require a little bit of tweaking since Jude is obviously designed to be a bit more humanoid and wearing clothing and such, where wearing distinct human clothing is not necessarily the answer you need when designing a more thorough robot-esque design. I don't know, there's a lot of just logistical bits that'll have to be gone over to try designing Jude in that style. But we'll have to see when we get there. Also, do not worry about the lines being black. I'll do all of my shading first, and then we will worry about the line recolors. Just so that way we can actually get them to match a bit better when we get all the proper lighting in. Yeah. think we want to do some brightness on this part. Now, what direction do we want to have the light coming from? Um, then this would all diffuse out. Okay. Hey there, Izo. Welcome in. Thank you for the flurry of dice. Oh. What's with the face for? Did you step on some moose poop on your way in? Or am I missing something? It's been pretty rough for you too. Does kind of seem like there's a lot of that going around lately. The staff lines. Yeah. Well, this place will be mostly chilled for now. Music choice is kind of just up in the air, so if you do kind of want to listen to something a wee bit different, I don't mind changing the channel. It's just kind of the mood I'm in for right now. But mostly just going to be working on the Solace doll, so sit back and get comfy, because we're going to be here for a hot minute while we're getting this part done. Yeah. One down. It's your stream, dude. You're the DJ. I mean, you're not exactly wrong. But when it comes to my end, at least, I tend to listen to pretty much any kind of music anyways, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day what we're listening to. Welcome in, Nano. Hopefully the evening's running well on your side so far. See here. I need these to be... Okay. There we go. It's cool to see you draw. I always found these dolls really cute. Well, thank you. Certainly trying my best to make sure that Solace is represented relatively well, and just everyone's represented relatively well in a more tiny format. Just gonna that probably a bit much. Expand. Two. That's better. Now let's see here. How would we want to represent the plaque on this one? So if we've got light coming in from like this area, for a gold plaque like this, we would probably want to imagine it being, and whoops on the select, I'll fix that, but it's not necessarily going to be like a flat piece. Alright, this is a, dude, it won't be like a flat thing. This is a new layer. Why aren't you drawing on this? Okay. Won't be a flat thing like this, but it'll be partially a beveled thing, I would wager. Not 100% certain if that's what Solace was going for, but... So where the heck did this come from? Hmm. I am so confused. Okay. Here. Mm, mm. Yep. So let's see here. Brush con. We'd probably want some shades starting up here, but then getting deeper as you go in. Soft one. Not soft enough. The amount of details he put into the staff is commendable. Yeah, admittedly, Solace, I mean no offense, but it would be very hard to convince someone to want to like animate Solace's staff. This thing looks like it would be a bitch to actually have on an animation cell, which may or may not be a good or bad thing, but just fair enough warning that this one's going to be hard to convince people to do in terms of fan art. There we go. Drawing this staff is a nightmare, but it looks good. Twitch sensors. Oh, Twitch does have a bit of an interesting way of doing Twitch sensors, to be honest. But you can at least turn that off if you want, so you're not bound by those laws. Um, it's a little bit there, a little bit there. Most of it over here, though. we go. Reminds me of Blue Archive censoring the word nano. Yeah, Blue Archive was an interesting game to try out. It's one of the ones I do at least still have installed on my phone, but the words that it chooses to censor is odd, to say the least. If only because some of the words, when used in a Japanese dialect, tends to be a little bit worse. I was able to at least get away with Jude, but I can't imagine that being the easiest one to get away with. And I guess speaking of censors, we are currently on the metal tracks right now, so there's probably going to be a few swears. That's not too bad. In Monster Hunter World, the word bite is censored in chat. Really? Hmm. Nope, next, not wanting to crack the right way. I guess for Capcom's sake, there might be something to that, but yeah, that's a weird one to actually censor. Definitely could be worse, though. Oh, whoops. No, can't erase. I have to be on the right layer for it. There and there. There we go. Not too bad. Now we're just gonna have to replicate that everywhere. Yep. You're not allowed to speak monster. It's a game about big lizards with sharp teeth. You're going to talk about a lot about bites. Yeah, admittedly, we probably should be speaking in Simlish when we're playing Monster Hunter. Otherwise, the censors are just never going to like us very much. Oot. Probably should work on all the extra bits. Also should probably make sure that the staff's colors are actually done. Yep. That's a bit better. All right, let's see here. Probably go a little bit harder. Oh. The cleanup phase for that staff's got a sting? Oh, I would imagine so. I'm honestly just trying to think about how you would make it. Like, aside from the magicness that's keeping the top and bottom half together, it would be a fairly pain in the butt situation just to try and design the intricacies of the handle. And the fact that it's probably easiest to just forge half of the pieces and then TIG weld them together in the few spots that you've got available. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I want to get rid of this. There we go. appreciation of Solace's blacksmith. Yeah, very much appreciation of Solace's blacksmith. I can't imagine that any bit of this process was super easy for him to deal with. Back to the heart eraser. Bit better. And then we probably don't need a ton here. So and a bit of a red color. This. Hmm. Actually, yeah, that still works. Dun, dun, dun. Hmm. No, my eyes are blending that together a bit too much. So I can't see any difference. And we'll do the same thing down here. Just to try and keep pieces of this together. Actually, a lot of this can be done since the top of the handle is going to be blocking most of this anyways. Get red in here. Okay, that works. Oh, there we go. Alright, let's see here. So if light's coming down, technically speaking, this orb is supposed to be translucent to some degree, but not enough that I'd imagine it's really keeping these things in check. So, here. And doing the shading also seems to be telling me where I actually missed to put in colors, so that's at least a good sign. Here. Okay. Here. Better. And then a little bit here. Because the light would be blocking there, but it's probably not going to be enough to give it a super dark shade, because there will be light coming in pretty much all throughout here. Maybe a smidge down here. Ouch. Get rid of a little bit of this. Doesn't need to be as dark. Okay. Not too bad. This one will mostly be shaded here because it is underneath something, like the bottom bitch portion that it needs to be. Yep. And then all of these will probably make a bit more sense once we get the line colors in. I'm on the soft eraser. That explains that. Yeah, a lot of these will make more sense when we actually get to line coloring, just because having the black lines is nice and all, but doesn't exactly solve the problems we have. What about here? Oops. Uh, mm. I wonder if drawing stuff in this doll format may actually help me with designing some of my characters. Just so that way I'm designing them on a smaller scale first, and then can kinda upgrade them to full bodies once I feel like the smaller design is actually appropriate enough. Might be something I end up doing. Not sure. Because there's a good amount of characters I actually need to do again, just for the sake of having my character roster filled out again. Most of these I wouldn't bother trying to make into models, but a couple of them might be a relatively good challenge to do. Go to here. I know Zoira was one I ended up trying to make the last time, back in the beta version of Vroid Studio. But maybe that's something we could try again, just because she's arguably meant to have a bit more of a simple design anyways, being the isekai protag of her own story. So that, that, then a wee bit here. Here. That works. I really left my lines that messy. Okay, brain. Let's see here. I never understand how my family casually chew on bird eye chilies while eating rice. Um, Ignorant Canadian question. What the fuck is a bird eye chili? Because I have never heard of that before. Most people think they're spicy. They're small but pack a punch. Hmm. I'm going to assume it's a snack of some kind that people may just think is unorthodox. There. I definitely haven't heard of it before, but I'm going to assume if people kind of just eat it alongside, it's pepper. It's pepper but small. For most, 1 or 2 pea-sized chilies are enough for a pot of chili. Pea-sized chilies? You mean like pea pod-sized chilies? Or a chili seed, because peas are pretty small. Like a pea. Okay, I am thinking the right thing then. I thought we were talking like pea pod sized, because pea sized seems like barely anything. There we go. The tiny? Hmm. So kind of peppercorn sized then? I think we're good now. Probably a good time to refresh for anyone lurking. There we go. Yeah, not 100% certain what happened there, but Kin's still going. Not sure. Cute. Yeah, maybe a couple peppercorns in size for the whole thing. Hmm. Guess it's a good bite-sized snack then. I'll take a look for him. Seems like an interesting idea. Is this? It has its own layer. It has its own layer. Okay, noted. I don't gotta care about the orb very much. Wait, that didn't work. Uh, It's a bit better. My family put that crap in every dish they make for me. Well, I mean, I suppose it helps in terms of building up your tolerance to spice, Nano, which isn't inherently a bad thing at times. Because there are some folks who kind of need a little bit more spice tolerance in their lives. Yeah, I'll take it. I should be grateful, but yeah, when it comes down to family stuff, I can't exactly fault you there, Nano. Hopefully, at least you can get used to the taste of your very spicy double peppercorns. Just so that way they don't surprise you during the holiday season or anything like that. Go. Probably not a good sign that my eyes are already kind of starting to mess up a bit, is it? Because we are only an hour in. That is not a good sign. Go. Solace, the new Spice God. I mean, it's probably better than being indoctrinated into the Spice Girls, so I'd say take that with a fairly good win. Unless you want to become, a female British lady from the 1990s who was popular. I'm going to assume this is Baby Metal. Oh, that's why that looks weird. Wrong brush. Go. Now you. How do we want to deal with you? Considering the orb, I kind of want to do this. Actually, thinking on it. Um, that one. Oh. Remember to not sit like a shrimp ball. Hardcore fumo making. I mean, that is functionally what we're doing. Don't know why this music is usually what springs to mind when I want to just work on art, but at least helpful. Um, this. Yep. It technically would be darker over there, but that might be a bit much. Need the soft boy. I need the eraser who will watch rom-coms with me where possible. Yep. Then you can get a little bit of light. You don't need a ton. Oh, actually, really put the light here. Mm. And I guess as an idle question for you, Solace, if you are able to type a reply, but what are these little blue dangles behind the staff head? Um, it is most of the gold already, actually. Okay. Good question. I didn't notice it due to my problem with seeing contrast. All good there. I was mostly just curious because from what I can see this as, at least, you functionally have the orb of the staff. Then you've got the triple claw that's basically hanging up the thing. But then there's also two back pieces. So like here, that seem to be like holding it up like cushions or paddles almost. But because the orb isn't fully translucent, it doesn't stick out a ton. So it's kind of hard to tell if they're like clasping onto the orb or not. I'm not sure if that's something that you'd actually want to explore and theorize about, but honestly, considering you've only got the triple claw holding onto it on the top base, the back claws here, based on the larger connectors, would probably be better as like glove cups almost, just because you've got everything supported on the bottom, but then nothing on the back. So unless that orb is just welded in there, I have severe concerns that that thing's just going to pop out. Oops. Soft eraser. That's just my thought, though. It still works conceptually, but just wasn't 100% certain where it was really sitting in the entire scheme of things. Oh, nope, those are lines. tiny brush. Probably want to do something like that. This half also gets something similar. All right, now how do we color your ball? Excuse you? How do we color your ball? I'm obviously not very talented in coloring crystals, and the weird squarish spiraling that comes into effect here ends up being a little confusing from my perspective. Okay, so it's these two. All right, now how do we do this? Because we've got an orb, we've got a light source. When you're dealing with various refraction, how does one do refraction? Okay. Because there's going to be stuff like this you can do, like Dewey had up here, where there's just a geometric shape coming through your crystal. Ah, that would explain why that took so long. There we go. Here. That's not really what I want. Um, this. Speak. Here. Pure black doesn't really seem to work much for that. That could work. Oh. Here. And this one. I guess it's already fairly blurred, so there's not too much we can really do with that. Um, you... Can I do something like this? That at least. That's actually not too bad. Okay. We can work with that. Kind of like a glassish marble situation where the orb is holding on to a slightly deeper, darker power inside it. Well, I might be making it a bit too uniform to work. Erp. Here. Hmm. Now, what are you for? think that's just a random blank layer that I left there by accident. Okay. Thank you for confusing me. Go away. Alright, then I guess the only other things we'd need to do on the staff would be the white parts. Well, the parts with the solid parts, the blue and white parts. Let's see here. That's our colors. Welcome in, Sauce. Hopefully the evening's running well for you so far. We're just being a little bit mad right now, trying to work on some art, but how are things on your side? Big? There we go. Lurky. Lurky tends to be the mood lately. But enjoy your lurk, Sauce. We'll be here, just working on stuff. And I suppose doing my best to just kind of keep an eye on the time, since I do tend to get a wee bit distracted. Ooch. It's the eraser. That is the wrong tool. That's not too bad. And the plush is looking cute. Thank you, Solace. We'll make sure to at least have it done before your birthday. That is at least, you know, the goal. And small brush. Yeah. Okay. And then you're gonna have some interesting lighting. How do I deal with you? Make it small. Let's get rid of all of that, covering our gold trim. This won't really need a ton of lighting on it, but good for it to at least get a little bit. Okay. Now we get to do the same down here. Yep. That's not too bad. Just gotta do the light layers. Okay. So we've spent an hour and a half just doing the staff. Sounds about right for that thing. Oh god, joints do not like me today. Yeah. Joints really don't like me today, hot damn. Alrighty. Next hard part. Hair. What are these ones for? Dick. This. This. Lower. Brush. Harder. Tiny brush. Oh, Jesus. Welcome in, Omega. Thank you for the sip. Probably should do that. Need to get a little bit of extra water in the system while I'm focusing, I think. I'm kind of surprised you actually have a full-on animated fire emote, Omega. That's usually not something people have on their channels. And I'm more half surprised that it's not just something on Solace's channel. I guess you do have the salad fire, but that's not really moving yet. But it might be something to do in the future.
Jude, can you draw me like one of your French toasters?
Draw Nikki. I mean, we could try and do a sketch of Nikki, but I do kind of need like a picture just because I know Nikki has changed their model a few times. And I'm not sure 100% certain what the current one looks like off the top of my head. Let's just do this so I can keep the colors somewhere. I need something a wee bit darker. This. Color here. Oops. No, that's the older version. That's not kept there. Nope, wouldn't be kept there. Hmm. No. Nope. Let's see here. Nikki is one I'm gonna have to do eventually anyway, so I may as well just do an initial sketch of it. Okay. Right, she's got the pin in her hair as well. I know that that's a gear, but Welcome in, Holger. Thank you for the sip. Hopefully things are going well on your side so far. Let's see here. I actually need to stand up. Give me a sec. Oof. Ow. That persistent issue of none of my joints wanting to crack correctly seems to be a little bit beyond just my neck. Okay. I'm doing good, just trying to do some incomplete stuff. I'll finish it tomorrow since it's quite a bit. Well, hopefully you are able to at least finish it at some point, Holger. You do at least have most of the weekend to get it done. Where are you? There we go. Also, sanity check for anyone who is a gacha game player to check on your various resources. We're getting decently late into the day. Now, how would I want to fake Nikki's shoes? I don't really have a visual on that at the moment. When we do eventually get to doing the Nikki doll, I'll probably just ask Nikki if they have a proper reference sheet, just because there are most certainly details I'm missing on this. And I guess Nikki's shoes for now will just be melon bread. That's fine. I cannot think off the top of my head what the soles of shoes look like. At least thought-wise, Nikki's usually part of a high corporate setting anyway, so it's probably work boots, but I'll ask later. What is that line for? think without having a proper reference sheet, that's about as far as I can get with this. Form-wise, at least. So when we actually do this one, I'll have to ask for a slightly better reference point, just so that way we can get all the details in. Evening, Mitchie. Hopefully the evening's running well for you so far. We're just doing some art stuffs at the moment, but how are things on your side? There we go. Pretty good. Had an interesting workday. Now, interesting can mean a few different things, but is it at least a good interesting? Or are we in a more worried interesting for this one? Nikki doesn't show a ton of skin, so it's not super hard getting everything covered this time around. There we go. Not exactly. Someone stole $1,200 worth of sunglasses, and I got to learn how to fill out a report for the police. Jesus. Okay. So, interesting in the fuck capitalism level of interesting, which $1,200 of sunglasses is a little ridiculous, I'll be honest. But I do know some places that would actually have sunglasses that expensive in the first place, so I guess I can't exactly fault the idea too much. But yay, I suppose, that you got to be bombarded by police most of the day. I'm assuming that at least kept the day not boring. There we go. I work at a fancy sunglasses place now. This equates to 4 pairs. Who the fuck is selling sunglasses for $400 a pair? I mean, congrats on getting a job that sells stuff that expensive, but who in their right mind sells shit that much? Because that's redonkulously expensive. Wait, $300. Sorry, not 400. I remember how to do math. Point very much still stands. And you don't have to actually answer that, Mitchie, just because I know that's a potential doxing issue. But this is just a chaos theory thought of how. Why is capitalism like this? Yeah. Reminds me of the dentist telling me to get braces, 3,000 for that. Yeah, unfortunately, when it comes to teeth repair, the technology is very much there, but it's not the cheapest thing in existence, unfortunately. One of these days we'll actually have it be a little bit more reasonable, but until that point, we're kind of stuck in the dark. Go. There. There you go. Prada, Vogue, Gucci, Michael Kors, to name a few. So people that I'll never actively interact with anyway, so it's generally fine. People are silly nowadays. I can't imagine myself ever buying a pair of those, if only because of the fact that I kind of have to wear regular glasses anyways, and I don't think those guys would have clip-ons or overages that would be up to my tastes. We do have affordable pairs. The cheapest ones are $100. Oh no. That's still very much too much money for sunglasses. I barely like paying more than like $20 for sunglasses. I don't think I can really get the blue over here, but Go. What color are Nikki's eyes? I'm not usually the one staring into them. Go. Now that I'm the same, I want them prescribed or transitions. Transitions tend to be fairly helpful, although they can get a little bit frustrating if you are in an area where the sunlight is changing constantly or the transitions just don't necessarily like the cloud cover in your portion. Let's see, y'all selling JoJo drip there, it seems like. Good. Well, Nikki does have a little bit of a JoJo drip to them, yeah. Yeah. And I do believe this has a bit of green to it. So just as a guess for later. Go. Oh yeah, and when it comes to JoJo-esque stuff, because of how Araki, pretty sure JoJo's Araki. Araki tends to work with some of the bigger clothing brands nowadays just because he likes how those folks dress up. And it works well with the slightly flamboyant design that Araki likes to work with. Thought there was a splash of color missing. Do-do-do. I cannot just... There we go. Okay. Nikki doll sketch. There we go. By the way, I'm practicing the pose for Sabbath since I found another one that's pretty more accurate. Okay. Sounds good, Holger. And I haven't watched it yet, but my GF loves JoJo. Yeah, I could see Laura liking JoJo a good bit. JoJo's a fun watch, I'd say. I'm currently more in love with the paintings. Does Araki do separate paintings nowadays? Because I know he does end up working on a few different things, but do if eyes need to do a little bit better here. Sketches. Prelim sketch of Nikki doll as per request from Nick. Let's see. He did have an exhibition in the Louvre. Yeah, I guess he did, didn't he? I honestly haven't checked as to what he ended up doing there, but these are all of the promo posts. I may as well chuck this at Nikki's Discord as well. Gotta figure out where to actually put this. Good Games, VTuber Corner. That's just a dumping of everything. Don't think Nikki has a separate art channel at all. At least I'm fairly certain Nikki doesn't. I'm not seeing one at least. Alrighty. Obligation finished, so we can get back to the Solace doll. Nicaro, just on your side. I know I've tagged you twice, but it'll be available for you in the Discord if you need that for anything. Do do. All of it here. Let's see. I just enjoy his post-Stone Ocean arts. He's truly become a master. That's definitely a good thing. He's had a fairly long time to actually work on his art and his style, so that one's brighter. So as long as he's just kind of able to enjoy himself a good bit, then that is kind of what matters the most. And I'm pretty sure Araki still likes his work. But he has kind of been trucking along with this for a while now, so it would be a little bit hard for him not to. I guess Kin would be long done by now. Okay, yeah, they went over to Jason. Okay. Thankfully, I'm a mod on there too, so that makes things relatively easy on my side. Yep. No, that looks bad. Hmm. Here. His last JoJo part, JoJolan's, is going to be released in a few days. Very nice. Well, I'm sure people are relatively excited to see more of that content, so hopefully folks do when everyone's able to just get it translated. It's probably going to be on clothing, but that's fine. Maybe in the future I should probably just keep the hair separate so that way I can draw solely on the hair. Not have to worry to clip over to other areas. Just not liking how I'm doing this. Just looks far too goddamn scratchy. Um, hmm. How's this done? That's done in a more cell shady style. We try doing something like that, then that would be something like dark. Think about your light sources, Jude. Yeah, people have been doing fan art of what seems to be the next JoJo from a very vague artwork tease that they made a while back. Oh boy, people really are grasping for it then, huh? Well, I guess that's not entirely a bad thing at the end of the day, right? It's getting people still hyped about JoJo's, which lets people wonder and just kind of think about what might be coming next. Which, I mean, if they're already just kind of working on spare bits of fan art for it already, then that's not a bad thing overall. Yeah. JoJo's is kind of one of the things I need to catch up on. I think I mentioned it while we were working on the Giorno last time, but I've only caught up to. I've only watched at least part one and part two. I still need to actually watch the entirety of part three and then a proper watch through of part four, if only because I have not given myself the time to actually do that, which just seems to be the running trend now. But I guess I also have just been a little bit behind on working on most anime stuff, so I'm fairly far behind either way. Welcome in, Haruhi. Hopefully the evening's running alright on your end so far. We're just getting some stuff done at the moment, but how are things on your side? Yeah, that won't work. How do I want to do this hair? Maybe do my original idea, but just less so. Yeah. Also, the big one was a sketch of the setting of the story. People have made an educated guess that's going to be in the Highlands. Islands, you say? Okay. And Araki has said in the past that he wanted to work with a Scottish type of setting. Well, that should be interesting then, because there's enough lore to work with in Scotland, Ireland, and just all of those areas in general. Neck, please. I don't think my neck's going to be listening to me. Seems I've accidentally made a link. No. You should be fine in the link front at least, Holger. And then things are pretty good. Today was pretty relaxing overall, which is pretty nice. And how are things on our side? I'd say things are decently mixed on our side so far. Dude, we're kind of just trying to get through everything right now and seeing what we can do with what's been placed in front of us at least, which isn't inherently a bad thing, but there's some times where you just kind of get, actually, with the way the hair's supposed to be going. There we go. With the way certain things end up going, it can always be a little bit of a troublesome situation where you just don't have the motivation or want to really get through certain tasks, but that's where being stubborn comes into play, and that's where that helps you out. And I don't like dropping streams necessarily, just because I'm having a slightly off day. With the vibe, well, the potential hope that I can just kind of vibe a bit while I'm getting the stuff done that I need to get done. This work better? Yeah. That, and it never hurts to just kind of experiment a bit with what you're working on, which is what I'm trying to do now. But definitely not having the best of luck with that so far. Soft boy. Soft brush, please. Soft one here. Hardness up. Brush size up. Now, I'll have to do some studying into cell shading. This isn't going to work either. Yeah. Yeah, today's just a bit more of a quiet day, at least from my end. Energy levels are mildly low, but should at least get the stream in since I'm kind of just working on art anyways. Not necessarily the worst thing to spend some more time on. At least I think so. It's a bit of a better brush size for this. Let's see here. I like the way that I end up doing my hair normally, but when it comes to this, I kind of want to branch it out a little bit to try and improve the look a little bit. Smaller brush. But I think that kind of just comes and goes, where you kind of want to improve on your potential crafts anyhow, so nothing super new, just I would like to finalize some way of doing this, make it work a bit better in the end game of things. Not bad, but it's a little bit overkill now, isn't it? Here. Make that a little less. Me when hair strands. Yeah, hair is a bit one that's awkward, to say the least, because everyone's got their own ways of really doing it, but when you're trying to come down to one universal answer, at least, there isn't really a good one, unfortunately. Yeah. When it comes to drawing hair, I believe I have peaked at the Rebecca hair rendering. Well, I mean, when it comes down to it, Holger, you don't necessarily have to think you've peaked there, because you can always go a little bit further later. Um, oh, whoops. Unlayer, Jude. Try again. Also, I must thank you. Your suggestion has made me realize that I can indeed draw full body. Well, you're welcome on that front, Holger. As long as it helps you develop, that is kind of what matters when it comes to working on your art stuffs. Because I feel like when it comes to doing art and just your own art journeys in general, you kind of need to just hit a very specific wavelength. Just something that will help you in hitting that one skill in your art that you can't quite get past. Which is kind of why people just need to keep trucking along when it comes down to it. Keep seeing what works, keep seeing what doesn't, and just kind of keep trying, really. I'll go a little bit smaller, shouldn't But that is my perspective on it. I know that there can be a whole bevy of different ways of doing this entire journey. Color. Yeah. No. Needs a little more. Probably should just follow the same method I tried doing for lighting the hair, shouldn't I? Um, I don't really know what stabilization does for this, but there we go. Gonna have to agree on that. Similar to a Souls game, you might see what appears to be an unbeatable challenge, but you learn what tools and strats help you out. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's partly why Dark Souls is just a good game to kind of listen to, but not necessarily idolize when it comes to the learning process. If only because sometimes that can work in your favor, sometimes it can't. Oh, actually, before I do this, just clean that up. But for the people it does end up helping, I'd say it's at least relatively helpful. Here. Because it can kind of suck when you're working on something for long enough and you just don't know if you're making enough progress to consider it a success or not. But you'll figure it out. When it comes down to any challenge like that, you'll figure it out in time. Where are you, cursor? Pretty sure I'm on that one. So take the slightly lighter color. And we can cover up some of the darker blotches and kind of blend it in a bit better with the light halves. And I am keeping an eye on the clock, so don't worry too much about me. Although I was slightly optimistic in thinking we would get the shading done today. But I'd say that's about normal. We at least got a good bit of the way, and at least got the staff, and presumably will at least be done the hair by the time we end stream today. Two. Alright, the tail. Hmm. Won't be too much light there, if only because this is meant to be behind the body. Yeah. Here. It's not too bad. Alright. Clean up. Alright. Next will probably be the face. May as well work top to bottom, since we're gonna have to go through a lot of different colors in his outfit. See here. Do that. Air, lighting. There. Would be half tempted to give Solace a nice pair of rosy cheeks, but not sure if I want to do that just yet. Alrighty, it's been a pleasure hanging out for a bit today. I'll send the finished sketch in a bit. That's just gonna turn into a pose into Sabbath now, and I'll definitely do a full illustrated on that one. You deserve it.
Goodbye.
Good luck with limited edition. The limited edition Funoish plush. Have a good one. Take care. Alright, thank you very much, Holger. Hopefully you have a good rest of your night, and thank you for the self-care bits. I'll get those in just a moment. I don't think that does too much, but we can get away with this. Probably should make this easier on myself, shouldn't I? Select, expand by 2. Here, here. Oh, right, I'm just painting the skin tone. That would probably help. Um, Now, how would we want to do the ear? Because it's the first ear we've had to deal with. Do. I don't know why that looks odd. I feel like is that part's too high? This. Yep. Oh, right. I made the brush size ridiculously large. Here. Oh, we are at the 3-hour mark already. Cool. I want to make sure Solus's forehead is at least available to meme with if we need to. Because we can do stuff like this and make sure that it is available to play tic-tac-toe on. Also just kind of need to make sure that the front of the face is lit up anyhow, just for the lighting being a little bit obvious. Also, hi there, Solus. We're getting there. We'll probably take another stream or two to actually finish this, but I'm pretty sure I've got a month or two at least until your actual birthday, if memory serves. And I don't mean this in a memey way, but I'm just really bad at actually remembering people's birthdays in general. I have looked yours up, but it has not sticked in my memory just yet. Filter, blur. I don't know why that doesn't work the way I want it to. Um, go. Mm. Eyes are definitely dying on me a little bit too early this time. Yeah. Mm. Oh, Jason's getting some spice going already. Gonna assume by the jacket that it's Melina, but assuming is not always the best of option. I mean, it's in May. Okay. I knew it was an M, so it was either March or May. Shoot. Thank you for confirming, Solace. There. We take your skin color. We go down here a bit. Member. Oh, imagine if we actually had a member. You'd have sites like 4chan going insane trying to make the best member post possible. Or imagine if someone tried making a movie from a member. How would that even go? Okay. Also, thank you, Haruhi, for the head pats. Um, uh, and wonder if it would go like the Emoji Movie. Possibly, actually. Because it would end up being something that would encompass all of the memes on the internet in the first place. Shoot. So you probably have them inserting every single meme possible into it in some way or another. Oops. Expand to. And then trying to actually conjure up how every meme could exist within the same world at the same time. Because it's not the easiest way of doing things, I'll be completely honest with you. A little smaller. Although it would be interesting trying to imagine how something like Nyan Cat and Keyboard Cat would interact with each other. Just because I don't think those kinds of properties would work super well together within one movie, but I could be wrong. Or I guess as an alternative point, whether or not all of the troll face-esque creations would actually be able to exist within one universe. Just because I feel like some of them would end up causing a slight paradox onto each other, and it wouldn't really end the best. Yeah, that's not too bad. Also probably should use that on the orb too, but... Um... See. Right about the 3-hour mark? No. Make sure I'm grabbing points on Jason's channel. Just in case I want to grab a sketch of my own one of these times. Um... Guess we'll get Mousie's up too. I'm pretty sure Anime Night's done, so she should be back up on there. Oh. Interesting. The stream is actually just... Oh, right, because she got her community goal thing, so she didn't have to stream for a week. Never mind. There we go. And then how was Monster Hunter yesterday? It seemed like a fun community night of sorts. I'd say Monster Hunter went relatively okay. I still need to learn a little bit more about greatsword work, but it's kind of an interesting reminder that... Oh, no, that was unplanned. She went to bed and the stream died. Ugh. Whoops. Well, I guess that's what happens when we don't have people living with Mousie to restart her never-ending stream. Oot. But just to answer your side, Haruhi, I think the Monster Hunter stuff went relatively alright. Nice. There's always a good reminder that when it comes to Monster Hunter, there are people who kind of take it a wee bit too seriously. So trying to just get a semi-casual session with it in isn't always the most straightforward thing. And nothing like that directly happened last night, but it's more so that I can see it continuing if I'm not careful. Cute. We'll do you next. But the Monster Hunter community is pretty wide, so I can't really fault that. There are people who are playing for just mass amounts of reasons, so it's hard to just kind of decode it down to one specific kind of player. This also isn't really going to have much likes. This is directly behind your head, Solace, so I'm sorry if you're expecting this thing to be shiny. Yeah, yeah, it works. Let's see here. It'll probably be safer if I do shading by color type, just to make sure that I'm using the same colors between each area. See here. Hairband. Let's see here. Start with you, just because you're a solitary color that just kind of exists on its own terms. We probably don't need to get super silly with you, but then that part will not be having too much in the way of shading, because this is technically open to the light. This part is covered, so you get to be darker, friend. here. Make you a little bigger. And we don't need right there, just because that's right by the boots. If anything, I should probably put the shade there. Here. Hmm. Yeah, you need to be redone. Get back on here. You're the full brush. I don't need you here. There, up there. Get a little bit more shade underneath the shirt. Okay. Create folder. Pants. Okay. I think my body is telling me I need to kind of end this early anyways. And I don't think I can focus for too much longer anyhow. So let's see here. My color swatches out. Hollister. And then since Jason's probably going to want taxes when we go bother him. Ow. Do open that, then open that. A little smaller, but that's fine. That's just an initial sketch anyways. Canvas. Okay. Save as. If I click that, you might be able to see my name. Taxes, Feb 11. Alrighty then. Oh, whoops. Okay, Clip Studio. I'll wait for you to respond, but did not like me trying to screen transition. Noted. But apologies for ending early. My mood has kind of been dead since the start of stream anyways, as is kind of obvious since I've been talking significantly less. And my back is starting to hurt a good bit, so I'm just gonna go deal with that. Maybe get a snack to try and boost things a little bit. But this will be the last stream of the week for me, at least. I'll be back next Wednesday with Monster Hunter World, I think. We're probably going to switch up Monster Hunter World onto Wednesdays for now, just to make scheduling a wee bit easier. And then Friday will be for the new Labyrinth of Galeria game, because I enjoy a healthy amount of suffering. So we will be able to enjoy that for long form there. Thursdays will still be Digimon. We're still kind of trucking through that. And Saturdays we'll keep working on the art stuff. So we'll get back to the Solace doll in order to make sure we can finish that for May. Shoot. Yep. But hopefully everyone does have a fantastic rest of your evening. Like I said, we'll be back next Wednesday. So, been a pleasure talking with y'all. Hopefully you have a great rest of your evening. And I will get to talk with you later. Bye-bye. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.